Hello, this is Miss Knight, and I'd like to walk you through how you can support your child at home with Wordly Wise. So the website is wordlywise3000.com. As soon as you click the login, you'll be rerouted to another website, but this is where you log in. I'm actually going to log in as a student so we can see a student view rather than the teacher view. And you'll see in the drop-down menu the assignments. So they go in reverse order with the newest assignment on top. So for this week, lesson 4 and test 4 has been assigned. I give out new assignments every Monday and they are due by the end of the week, so Sunday. When a lesson has not been started, the levels will be gray. And then as they progress through the lesson, those will turn blue, and that is how you can check to see their progress. So I'll show you one that is completed, and you can see these have all turned blue, so you know that this is complete. The part of Wordly Wise that I would like you to focus on supporting your child with is activity level 2 or scene 2. And you click on the word list, and this is the list of words, definitions, and sample sentences that the kids should review before going any further into Wordly Wise. So what we would normally do in class is I would pronounce the word. So I would say the word acquire. The students would echo that back. Sometimes the words are a little bit more difficult to pronounce, so it might take a couple times. If you don't know how to pronounce a word, and that happens sometimes, you can go to dictionary.com, and right here is a little speaker button.
Acquire. Acquire.
And the kids like to hear that sometimes too. That's a lot of fun. As you move through the word list and you're going through the definitions, you have kind of two options. In class, students like to raise their hand and volunteer to read the definitions, but 15 definitions for one child might be a bit much. So maybe you read one, your child read one, or you read them all and discuss them with your child, or your child reads the definition and you read the sample sentence. So, I mean, you can find what works for you and your child. The words may seem not to really go together at all. There's usually about 12 to 15 words per list. But you'll see later on in lesson 9, I believe, there's a reading passage where they do all sort of get melded together into a reading passage that makes sense. I suggest keeping the word list open as your child moves through the lessons because they can refer back to the words and definitions, and that sort of helps the frustration level if they're working with new words they've never seen or heard before. The other thing that is helpful if the words do seem really confusing is to open a thesaurus tab and review some of the synonyms because I might understand buy and collect and get more easily than the word acquire. But once I see, like, oh, acquire means the same thing as buy, collect, or get, then I can start to piece together a definition that makes more sense for me um, as I'm learning these new words. So, dictionary.com, thesaurus.com, keep your word list open as your child moves through the lessons. You'll see here these green checks. That means these answers are correct. If your child gets an answer wrong, it would be a red X. And they have the option to edit their answers and try again so that they can end up with all green checks. And then as you move through the lesson, you should have, mostly green checks. One of the fun levels that a lot of kids enjoy is the illustrated vocabulary. And on this is an opportunity where students can either download a picture from the internet or they can draw a picture. Just make sure that they do this part too, the write a sentence to explain how your image shows what the word means. Sometimes kids get so focused on the picture that they forget to add their sentence. There is a social element to this level as well. As students complete it, you can see what your classmates have submitted, which is fun to see all of the different thinking um, between you and your classmates. Again, this can be edited too, so if like I realize here that I left my period off, I can go into edit, or I can delete it and start again, and I could put a period at the end of that sentence. One thing that I would caution that you might want to pay attention to is that sometimes by levels 8, 9, 10, and 11, students want to sort of rush through the rest of it, and they try to start answering 9, 10, and 11 without reading the passage in level 8. So when I get a lot of questions from a student saying they're really struggling with 9, 10, or 11, I always ask them, did you read the passage? And most often they have not. So if your child seems frustrated, maybe sit down and read the passage together. You can click on the link. They're usually 1 to 2, sometimes max 3 pages long. This one's a page and a half. But you'll see the vocabulary words are in bold. You can either have your child read it aloud to you. I usually in class have the child read one paragraph, I'll read another. Or if they're really struggling with a particular, like this paragraph has a lot of new vocabulary words in it, I might read that particular paragraph out loud to them. So you can just kind of play it by ear with how your child's doing. Once they have finished all of the lesson levels, then they're ready to take the test. You can see their test score means they've taken the test and it's been graded. You'll see a score. If they have not taken the test yet, this is what it will look like. So they would click here to go ahead and take the test. And I am totally okay with them keeping the word list open while they take their test, because at the end of the day, I just want them to learn the words and really understand their definitions. I would caution too to really read the directions in the test, because a lot of times they ask what the antonym is, and then that sort of comes back to using the thesaurus. You can use that to find antonyms as well. Okay, if you have any more questions about Wordly Wise or how to better support your child at home with Wordly Wise, the last thing I would say or highly recommend is since you're learning these words with your child, maybe try to use them throughout the week in conversations, or just randomly ask them, you know, what's acquire mean? So they can really assimilate the words into their vocabulary and start using those words on a regular basis. Okay, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and I hope you are all safe and well. Thank you so much for helping your child during this distance learning experience. All right, take care.